PDP has problems. Labour Party is non-existent because it's purporting to have a leadership that did not emanate from the people. I was the presidential spokesperson. I was not aware that we were doing a convention. So which convention brought the executive you're talking about? If I that speak was not aware of a convention held, then you can imagine the ordinary Labour Party members. So as long as you are saying that there is a leadership under Abure, I put it to you that there is no leadership under Abure. So it's either there is a leadership under Nenadi Usman, or in my own opinion, there is no Labour Party. I have said it and I'm saying it. At any point in time, that by crook or by any way, Abure succeeds in establishing himself as national chairman, that is the day that I end everything about Labour Party for myself. I have said it and I'm saying it again.
You will leave the party?
I've already left. That's the issue. Once it is Abure. I said I am not a member of Labour Party under Julius Abure. So I've already left.
Will this impasse?
Yes.
I'm trying to think of any way it can be solved. My brain is not brilliant.
The only way it can be solved is for the courts to do the right thing.
It was
not Labour Party.
Will you people get this thing together? Will this party be together and ready for 2027? Talk about, our conversation today was supposed to be about the role of opposition and how Labour Party can be providing the proper opposition, and of course we're watching the PDP and other parties as well. How can the Labour Party be providing proper opposition in our democracy if they don't have their house together? That and the fact that would they be together come 2027?
But now let me put it this way. It was not even Labour Party that said Abure is not the national chairman of Labour Party. It was INEC. INEC told the world that this man and his so-called executive did not organize a convention known to law. INEC is the supervisory body. And you're telling me one court said and one court... Sorry. In the Constitution, the court is not the supervisory body to political parties. INEC said it, and they provided evidence. And the court told Abure, when Abure went to court, we don't have jurisdiction to entertain this case. Meaning the decision of INEC stands. And when there is no leadership, according to INEC, what happens is that the people have gone to choose a caretaker committee to now organize the convention. It ought to be a very simple thing. But because the so-called executives must have been aligning themselves with the ruling party, in my own opinion, and that's why I said you should not blame the ruling party. When somebody is now an outlaw, he goes to submit himself to the ruling party, and the ruling party will gladly welcome the person because they will now use him to destabilize the party. So what happened is that there are willing collaborators in Labour Party, led by the so-called executives, who have submitted themselves to APC for help. The ruling party.
Do you have any proof?
And they are being used.
Is there actual proof that these people? Do you have names?
Now, let me give you proof.
Okay.
Before the purported convention, they were saying, ticket is reserved for P2B. Ticket is reserved for OT. When INEC declared their seats vacant, and these people went and constituted a caretaker committee, what were they saying? No, the ticket is no longer reserved for anybody. The ticket is now reserved for APC. If it is no longer reserved for anybody, in my own opinion, it's as simple as that. Because you cannot approbate and reprobate. You cannot say you're reserving this ticket for this person when you were not having problem. Then you start having problem, and you're saying you're abandoning the person. So who are you now liaising with? And then the court will give a judgment and put one sentence that is an abracadabra that nobody will understand. Imagine a court saying, I'm hearing that the first time in my life as a lawyer. A court is saying this case is not justiciable. This case we don't have jurisdiction. But we are standing on the judgment of another case with different parties before the court. It's not done. So you have the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob. And once there is no consistency, you will know that somebody is beating the drum, that people who are on the bank of the river are dancing.
I mean, it's a very shocking situation.
It is shocking. I knew we were going to get to this if we do not nip it in the bud. I told Abure then, go and conduct a convention known to law. If you win, so be it. I don't have any interest. I am not contesting for any post. I am simply looking for rule of law. I am simply looking for good governance in this country. And if we came to show Nigerians that we are the alternative that will produce the integrity they need, how can we, if our party is not doing well, how can we convince Nigerians? I am not the man that will sit down and start painting things the way they are, because it's good governance that took me to politics.
Very well said, Charles. Interestingly, I would say this is an end of a season, in a long-standing, series of drama in the Nigerian political history. Specifically, this one I target Labour Party saga. But the Supreme Court has been able to close this chapter of Abure issue. Like it or not, for Abure, whether he likes it or not, he is no longer the chairman of Labour Party. And an opportunity has been presented to Labour Party to find a way to get themselves together, if at all they could, because they are infested with multidimensional issues as a political party, Charles.
Well, has an opportunity been offered? I mean, you heard the deputy national chairman there interpreting the Supreme Court ruling in a completely different way.
Yeah, why I say it's an opportunity is whatever we may say at this point, it is at the apex court, Charles. At this point, the best they can do is to go back to the Supreme Court to interpret what the Supreme Court says. It can't go beyond that. This is the last cycle Abure and his team has. And let us not forget, not long ago, the Supreme Court gave the same declaration with regards to the PDP issue, i.e., the internal party structure issue is purely an internal issue. And therefore, I don't see the Supreme Court giving Abure any leeway to that. But they have a bigger problem than Abure, like you rightly said. The internal party democracy has been an issue. Because in my view, Charles, even though there are the good politicians, in Nigeria, the political space is infested by what I call political gallivanters, political mercenaries, and political jobbers. And to that extent, this will continue happening until those people that should be the vanguards, i.e. the political quote-unquote leaders in those parties, whether it is Excellency Peter Obi or Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and their likes, to be firm in, first of all, leading by example to entrench internal democracy, that may be the first step to having a proper political party that can even stand on its own, talk less of being an opposition. So yes, an opportunity has been presented to them as far as the Abure issue is concerned, but there are other chapters of issues for the political party to deal with. Some are fundamental, and then some are post-2023 elections